First thing, what you see in the background here is a very unfortunate woman, and she's screaming for a reason. She's screaming because her relative died. The relative is supposed to get dialysis, kidney dialysis, right? But because the hospitals have now been all filled up with COVID patients, right? And like I was saying in our previous podcast, the doctors that I'm in contact with are joking about the fact that they have to hold sick people at bay in order to keep healthy patients inside the hospitals.
Yeah, so there are COVID patients, but the vast majority of people don't really have many symptoms.
No,
so
they're
they
asymptomatic.
have to go in there.
Yeah. So you've got these healthy, nothing wrong with me. I just happen to have tested positive for COVID.
Don't let me go home.
Yeah, but here I am sitting in the hospital, blocking up the space, and the person who needs kidney dialysis or has any number of very serious diseases or problems that need to be checked out is just dying. Okay, because they can't get the treatment. There is no space. In fact, a nurse at one of the hospitals died of asthma because she wasn't allowed into her own hospital. She was there to do the COVID testing and stuff. She had an asthma attack, and they wouldn't allow her into the ER because the ER was currently being decontaminated or whatever for COVID. So she died.
Yeah, we also got reports of people dying of heart attacks at the gate of the hospitals because they're not allowed in the emergency facilities because zero COVID is more important for the face of the leader than people dying in droves of natural causes and medical issues that they're not allowed to see a doctor for.
Look, there's all sorts of horrible and, once again, you can't 100% confirm what you see going around on WeChat and so on and Weibo. But tons of videos of people killing themselves, jumping off of buildings. We've seen, you see it.
Well, you can confirm
okay, people are jumping off buildings, but the reasons behind
their head is a different story, right? Yeah.
And like there's an old guy did it, and apparently the neighbor said it's because he was suffering too much pain and he couldn't get his medication from the hospital, so he killed himself.
Of course this is going to happen, yeah.
Because as a result... And, of course, people are just having mental breakdowns because of the lockdown as well.
Well, there's been so many lockdowns, and this is yet another one, and this one's super bad. This one's super crazy.
Well, I think also you have to understand that this is Shanghai. This isn't...
Good point.
A rural village where they can do it with impunity. When you're dealing with the rural parts of China, the government can come in there and they can do whatever they want. It stays silent because nobody talks about it. Everybody's poor. They don't have the means to actually broadcast to the rest of the world or broadcast out what's going on in this little rural village in the mountains or whatever.
Yeah.
Shanghai, on the other hand, is the most Western, most sophisticated city in China. And you've got a massive middle class and a big upper class, a lot of rich people. And they're the kind of people that are not going to take shit.
True.
True. Not going to just be stomped on.
So here's the deal: is I want everyone to understand that Shanghai does not enjoy special privileges legally. Okay?
Not legally.
No, it doesn't though.
No.
That's the wake up call for everyone.
Yeah.
Is that it seems like an international city because China wants it to be the face of China. They want it to be the place where foreigners see and say, "Oh, China's on the up and up." They don't get to see some village in Hunan.
Sure.
They want to go see Shanghai, and yes, there's clubs. Yes, there's bars.
Yeah, you've got your French croissant. You can go get a coffee.
Croissant. You're going to go to a nice coffee shop. You got an Italian restaurant. You got international musicians that come there and play. A friend of mine just had a film festival there. Now he's in lockdown, right?
Yeah.
Stuff happens there because that's the most palatable place to show off China,
Yeah,
right?
It's an impressive city. It's got old European architecture. It's got new skyscrapers. It's a very nice city.
The issue with that is it's still in mainland China. It doesn't enjoy special privileges legally like Hong Kong, right?
Yeah.
There's no border here. Shanghai is in mainland China. So when things happen from the central government, they still have to follow the same rules, right? There's been a bit of leeway in the past because there's the Shanghai faction in the CCP.
Sure.
But Xi Jinping has consolidated so much power that when he says something, Shanghai falls too. Yeah. And there's a lot of people, like you said, that have enjoyed such a privileged life in comparison to the rest of the country that this is out of the ordinary for them.
We've always kind of made fun of the Shanghai bubble foreigners, for instance, because foreigners living in Shanghai, we always say they don't know what the real China is.
Sure.
And that's simply because you don't get a Family Mart or a concession store or whatever in most cities. You don't get like the brands that they have access to. They've got White Castle in Shanghai, okay? And they've got a Hooters in Shanghai.
You can't
get that anywhere else in the country. It's like a Shanghai privilege.
If you think about the actual...
Hooters is a privilege, apparently. But anyway.
Yeah, I shot a video there just because I was so blown away.
Yeah, it's
there's
like
one in China. Yeah. They were nice. It's like a family restaurant there. Isn't that bizarre?
It's like a family restaurant everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, they say that, but it actually was.
I don't know, man. Like, really?
I would never take my family to Hooters here, but it was a different vibe in China.
I went to a subscriber took me to Hooters in Arizona, and there were there were families there, and
would you bring your family there?
I mean, as a curiosity, I think my wife would enjoy it.
Okay.
But I mean, they had like a birthday party. They had the kids stand up and do a whole happy birthday song.
Totally. Anyway,
it's a family restaurant. I'm standing.
Okay,
on
fine. My point of this is the absolute disillusion, the unbelievable status of Shanghai, like a Hooters, like a White Castle. You know, we're saying these things like there's some impressive things,
but they are when you're in China. Yeah,
when you're in Guangxi, when you're in the middle of Guizhou,
you're lucky if there's a Dicko's chicken. You know,
oh, dude, you're lucky if there's a place to spend money.
Yeah, it's true.
We're talking about there's roads without pavement, and there's people walking around without shoes, catching rats to eat, dude.
Yeah.
So we're looking at people like that versus a Hooters in Shanghai, right? So you have to understand the dissonance. Right?
Yeah, so that's why it's so hard for so many people to swallow. And that's why a lot of foreigners specifically have been reaching out to us that are stuck in Shanghai. And it's usually the foreigners that can't stand us, hate our guts. Because they're living in airy fairyland in Shanghai, thinking that China's Shanghai.
Yes.
And when they see us making videos about the things, when we criticize what's going on in China, they're like, you guys must be lying. I don't get to see that when I'm having my morning coffee at Starbucks, you know?
My point at the end of this, though, is that they do have to follow the same policies of the central government when push comes to shove.
Yeah.
And Xi Jinping said zero COVID is going to be, that's going to be the way he either goes out or he maintains power.
Yeah.
And he's decided that's the way he's going to maintain power. So they have to go through that. So we're going to...